So my name is Mauricio Cardona. I'm with Roofing Marketing Pros. I'm here with Garen Armstrong from Shamrock and Roofing and Construction. And I'm super excited to just tell his little bit of his story. He has an amazing story. And I've known Garen for like probably 3 or 4 years by now. We met at the Steve Patrick conference a few years ago, and he actually was showing me how he's running his ads himself with the Google Ads. So it come a long way from that. And I just wanted to get a little bit of background. We've been working with Garen since I think October of last year. So it's about 7 months now, something like that. And just want to talk about his story and just talk about what his experiences are. So tell me about your background. You've been in the roofing space for a long time, but tell me about your background. How did you get started in this?
Yeah, first off, thanks for having me, and I always enjoy our conversations, and I love your spirit and entrepreneurism, and how you help everybody grow. And so, a little bit about my story is I've been my dad started the Shamrock Roofing Construction back in 1977. It was just a small kind of, firm like him and my uncles, no aspirations to grow or nothing like that. And so he passed away 5 years ago. And essentially my mom said, Garen, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I'm going to take this to the moon. Let's go. And so she basically handed over the reins. And at that point, we started growing, and we focused really on, I'm a Class A general contractor, so we can build bridges and skyscrapers in 48 states. But where I like to focus at is in the roofing segment, because, we can put a, roofing system on and do a lot of them. And so that's how it started, and that's how it's grown. And we've grown in the Kansas City region to, one of the top roofing contractors in Kansas City. And then we basically started branching out in Omaha, then in Lincoln, and then over in Des Moines, down into St. Louis.
Mhm.
And basically our model is we're keeping, all the headquarters here in Kansas City, and we open physical, brick and mortar locations in each market that we're in. And it's by us, for us. So, we're hiring sales managers in those locations from Omaha. The people that work there are from Omaha, so it's, we're not, no one's storm chasers. No one's, but we're more of a storm catchers. And, that's just, part of our business, because we obviously do retail as well. And so by growing these areas in the region, we've doubled in growth year over year, every 4 years now, every year for 4 years. So it's just, we're able to offer great pricing to everybody, as full transparency for all the Shamrockers. They see the exact dollar that I pay for material, and so they like that. So they're able to build upon that. So we have, the great culture has been the glue that's kept everything together. The transparency, and really, I take care of my personnel. I take care of them so well. I pay them very well. I got the 401ks with the pension bolted onto it, that I put money in there regardless if they do or not, just because, I like bringing new people on and training them. And after I spend that time, I want to retain them and keep them. And I'm grateful for them, because, this kind of segues into another story. I just got out of a heart transplant 4 months ago, and it grew and did itself without me here
And
because
it
of,
means, and you were healthy before that, right? You were just a healthy guy, like a normal regular healthy guy, right? And
yeah.
you got a virus, right, or something like that.
Yeah. So I was 40 years old. I was working a hotel fire claim, and being in and out of that hotel nonstop from all the char, the asbestos and mold. It had affected, somebody got a sinus infection from it, and it went to my heart. And your body tries to heal itself, and my heart was expanding to where it couldn't pump the blood anymore. That's called your ejection fraction, and pumps the blood. And so then it didn't have any blood flow in my body. So I went to the ER, and right then they went code blue, and they took me in there, and they I was like, wow, I never thought that I'm dying and everything goes to your head. You think about your kids and life. And um, but what they did was end up keeping me. They cut the apex of my heart off, the bottom of my heart, tip of my heart, sewed this pump in me, and I lived off batteries. And I didn't have a blood pulse or a blood pump. I lived off a flow, and all that did was keep my organs alive. And so until I was able to get a heart, and I waited 3 years for a transplant, and uh, and I was able to grow the business and stay alive, living off batteries. It's a pretty.
It's amazing, man. So
It,
3 years living off of batteries, and now you have a new heart and you feel like a new man.
I do. I
Yeah.
have blood. When I first got the transplant in, hearing that heartbeat in your ears, it was really weird. It was like the drums, but it was just amazing, and to have actually a blood pump and a blood pulse and all of that.
That's
So
awesome. That's awesome.
yeah.
So you've grown. Like, talk about the growth of the last 3 years. I know this year you're gonna shatter records, but talk about the growth of the last 3 years. Like where you were 3 years ago, 2 years ago, last year, and now this year.
So 3 years. So we were bumping our head. It was a 3 million bumping our heads. And then that's when I got sick. And that's when we started implementing some training. The SVGU is what we used. And then once that happened, we went to 5 million, then 7 million, and 14 million, actually 15 million, 14.8. Then this year we're already on 110, percent year over year, projected for 30 million. So the growth has been, phenomenal. Uh, Behind us, we got, Owens Corning gave us the largest platinum expansion for the Midwest in the region. And um, Beacon Roof, Depot gave us the Lighthouse Award for, the most vision and leadership. And so, it's been phenomenal. Honestly, it's a true blessing. And with all that's happened with the growth and everything, it's you get to a point where it's like, okay, my whole goal now is to not screw it up. you know Keep the speed wobble to a minimum from the growth. And because what we're doing, I mean, in the growth that we're having, I mean, I've got project managers that are making $250,000 and that has made more than they do with their life. And for the most part, I mean, they're young men, they're in their mid 20s. And you know you can only buy so many cars and type of stuff. So that's when I started introducing them to wealth advisors and things like that. And so we're not just growing a company, but we're growing people in the company. And to grow, we're all growing daily, growing different areas in our lives, where we're identifying blind spots in our own personal lives to have a balanced life.
Mhm.
And so I mean that means your business acumen, dealing with your bankers to help you grow, dealing with your accountants to the whole team to that you have to have behind you, your attorneys to make your contracts are right, to when you're putting over 2,000 roofs on a year, you're dealing with homeowners that a lot of great homeowners, but maybe 1.5% of homeowners that they don't have good intentions in mind,
Yeah.
so you got to protect yourself from them. So we're learning and as we're growing. So a
Yeah,
lot
at the
of,
same way with us. So we're adding a lot of clients, and we have the same problems where when you scale the company, there's issues with people, and learning to deal with that, learning to protect yourself, but always trying to do the best you can, right? Um, I want to talk about your experience because you're not honestly the typical contractor. You took a hands-on approach in terms of actual doing the marketing yourself in the beginning. You actually learned how to do it yourself. You took courses. You did the hard work, and then you basically, okay, I need to find people that actually can execute this for me, right? Um, Talk about like your experience, because what from my point of view, basically your foundation of your marketing, your digital marketing, because you do a lot of obviously door to door and stuff and mailers and all that stuff. Your foundation is your website, right? So your website is basically kind of, you built that up, you designed it, you spent a lot of money on it, Talk about what that process looked like.
Yeah, so I mean, we're definitely in an online world. I mean, you can look at Amazon, for example. I mean, e-commerce outsells, brick and mortar. And so if you're a roofing contractor or in the solar, or you're any business and you're not focusing being online, then you're missing the point. Yes, what we do is we put a physical roof on, but homeowners and people are a lot smarter. They're looking online for reviews. They're looking online to see your presence and what you're about in the community. And so that's when we started, building up the site, and we wanted to do a lot of videos and blogs to just to document more like a diary of who we are, and kind of put it out there so that, people may not need a roof today, but it'll be in the forefront of their mind, so that when they do buy a house, or, they'll think of us. Or if their friend buys a house and they say, who do you use? Oh, we use Shamrock because, they're good in the community. They give a roof away, quarterly to veterans, and that type of stuff. But to go back to your point, yes, internet marketing is huge, and a lot of people don't take the time to try to understand it, or to invest in it. And it does take time. It does take a lot of hard work, and it's like, it's consistent. You're not just, you put the time in and you're done. You it's like working a farm. You're always working it, and you're always, and so yes, I set when they're set up all the stuff, and the Google and Google analytics and Google marketing and all that. But once I set it up, you know, I want to go with the best, right? Like, I have a personal trainer so that I can be the best. I have a financial wealth person so that I can be the best there. So why wouldn't I want to have an internet marketing strategist that's the best?
Mhm.
And so yes, I started it because I knew that's the direction that it needs to be. But being able to hand it off to you and let you take it and grow with it with your team, has been a breath of fresh air to help take it off my plate. I know that I can trust you, and I can look into it. And I mean, I can see what's going on, and I know that you're doing a good job with it. So
Yeah.
um, it's also one of those things that you grow together as well. So
Tell me about like the results, specific results. I think you've got my understanding, you're getting about at least 250 leads a month, right, from the campaign, something like that.
yeah,
At least at like 150 calls, something crazy, right? Like two.
yeah. I wish I had all those statistics in front of me right now, but
Yeah.
the phone's not stop ringing. The leads are constantly coming in, and our our gals that answer the phone, they're keeping busy with the leads. The guys, they're running from appointment to appointment. I'm buying new trucks. We're bringing on people as fast as we can, and it's been amazing. The results. So,
That's awesome. That's
right
awesome.
now we're getting over 5,000 plus, unique visitors a month, and at that point it's just dialing it down, and what's the majority of those mobile. So you're working on how can you, make small, you know, dialing
Tweak.
in,
Yeah.
getting it in.
And also too, I want to talk about you're not afraid to spend money. So contractors or there's a fear in spending money, and you're not afraid of spending money. So that's another thing that you want. Can you talk about that too as
Yeah,
well?
yeah. So I mean, honestly, your marketing spend should be 5% of what you're making, 5%. And you have to go with it, and you have to stick with it. Sometimes you're going to feel pain, but you stick with it. And the law of averages is going to play out in your favor, but you have to stick with it. And that means, dialing in and fine tuning it. But yeah, definitely not afraid to spend money, because it does pay for itself. I mean, it's an investment. So if you're going to invest in yourself, and have the confidence in yourself that you can perform. And so, I can, I vouch for you, and, marketing pros, that is definitely a great investment. I mean, and for everyone who's to watch this, Mauricio, and had bigger visions for me and on my ROI, my return on investment, than I did, and so they wanted to track it all the way back and all this, and so it's great to have another entrepreneur looking out for other entrepreneurs that are out there, that are looking to use your service. That's one of the main attractions that drew me to you. So
Awesome.
absolutely.
And who would you recommend this specifically for? Because we talk about a lot of contractors. Who would you recommend this specifically for? What type of contractor?
What type of contractor? As in terms of a roofing
No, just,
contractor,
yeah, a
or
roofing contractor.
yeah, whether you're a small mom and pop shop that's looking to, grow, one or two other guys, whether you're a, multi-million dollar contractor. I mean, so, you can scale for any one of them. Because I mean, look at my growth. It went from fairly small, from 5 million to 30 million, and we're still growing. So I think the only thing that changes at that point is the amount of zeros you're putting behind the number in your marketing budget. And so, yeah.
Oh, awesome. Hey, Garen, anything you want to add?
I definitely I appreciate everything you've done, and I mean, I would say that you're a large part of the responsibility of our growth here.
Mhm.
And I like how you stay up on top of the innovations, the new Google algorithms that constantly change. There's a lot to it. I mean, there's a lot to it than behind the scenes. I mean, people go and they talk about, internet marketing, and it sounds, snake oily, but there's a lot to keeping up with the algorithms, to see what's going on, to what needs to be changed. And that's why, the do-it-yourselfers, yeah, I did it myself and I started it up and I knew what I was doing. But you get to the point where you're growing, you have to start delegating and your, responsibilities. And so I was able to release that role and you've taken the ball and ran with it, into the end zone and
Awesome.
back to the other
Yeah,
end
it's
zone
like
twice, a couple different times.
exactly, yeah. It's like it's a team effort. Like what I like analogy like to use when we're doing a marketing campaign is to be successful. I'm the quarterback. I'm throwing you the ball. You still have to catch the ball. And obviously you've caught the ball many times, but that's the analogy. Like if you're not catching the ball, then you're not gonna be making money.
Right.
So that's the way it works. So I mean, again, I really appreciate your time, and hopefully we continue working together for a long time, and we'll keep growing together, right?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
You too, man. Garen, hey, thank you, man.
Thank you.
All right, bye.